Welcome to Living the Smarter Science of Slim, where we provide a scientifically proven lifestyle for long-term health and fat loss by eating more and exercising less, but smarter.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everyone, Jonathan Bailor back with another bonus Smarter Science of Slim podcast. Real treat for you today. Have a wonderful super fitness enthusiast. He is the training director for both Muscle and Fitness and Men's Fitness magazines. He's probably got Women's Fitness on his radar too, but I don't know. And he is also a certified strength and conditioning specialist. He is the proprietor of fitnessdistilled.com as well as SeanHyson.com. And as you can guess by that last URL, Sean Hyson, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. That was a very nice introduction.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you sharing your insight with us because clearly you are plugged in to the fitness world. How did you rise through the ranks and become the training director for both Muscle and Fitness magazine and Men's Fitness magazines?
Well, I've always been a fitness enthusiast. I got into lifting weights in college. I was into martial arts before that. I always valued health and eating well and staying active, and I was a writing major. That was my actual major in college. I went to Ithaca College in upstate New York, and I was interested in applying writing to something I was interested in. I didn't know exactly what topic it would end up being or what form it would take, but I knew I wanted to write, and I was also interested in fitness, so it was very, very fortunate that my dad happened to work at a publishing company, and they had just acquired some fitness magazines, Men's Fitness being one in New York, and they were relaunching the magazine and doing the staff, and I got a chance to come on as an editorial assistant at the bottom, and I worked my way up from there. I became fitness editor, I guess, 18 months later, and I got my CSCS after that, and a few years after that, I got into Muscle and Fitness as well, and I've been writing for them both ever since.
Sean, what has been two things? One, being in more of this formal role of authority, what you must see a lot. What are the top trends in the fitness world that you like, and what are the top trends that you wish would just go away?
Well, I like this the movement toward more green eating, more eco-sustainable kind of nutrition. People are experimenting more with veganism and organic food, and I think that's definitely a step backward in time, which is a step in the right direction in a lot of ways, so getting away from some of the processed food, which I know you and I are on the same page about. It's a problem. As far as stuff that isn't so great, I think it's more the way people apply some of these ideas. They think that they have to eat organic, and it has to be done in such a regimented way. I think just little changes over time in the right direction are more sustainable, and they lead to better progress overall. And trends of thinking you have to be on a certain diet and follow that diet to the letter. And when you get very specific like that, that's when problems come up and people handicap themselves. And I just think those are the two differences there. It's good to have the macro view of something and not so much take the micro view.
Sean, you mentioned a green/vegan way of eating, and what has been your observation? I know when I was more in the bodybuilding, commercial fitness world, I never ate a vegetable. Like I promise you, unless I went out to eat and they were served to me, no vegetables, because I was like, it's about carbs and protein and maybe some fat. It was just no vegetables. What do you see as the role of vegetables and green foods in developing a world-class physique?
I think they're essential. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I was of that mentality too at one point. But if you look back in time, a lot of the old-time strongmen, the early bodybuilders, they were total health nuts. Those guys ate plenty of vegetables and fresh farm food, which is what they had available to them. It was easy to get in those days. So it's always been there. I think vegetables are invaluable. They're a detoxifier for your cells. They're a great source of fiber, loaded with vitamins and minerals. You can't go without them. I mean, you can for a little while, but then that's just ignoring what's happening on the inside of your body. And these guys who are ripped to shreds and look great, they look great as far as their muscles, but their skin doesn't look so good. And what's happening is that the skin is trying so hard to detoxify the body and get the nutrition that it needs, and you're denying it that. And you can be ripped and not look healthy. There's a definite difference there. And the people who lack vegetables in their diets, the people who look like that.
And Sean, what are your thoughts? It seems like every 5 years or so, there's this oscillation between it being really trendy to exercise slowly, and then it becomes really trendy to exercise explosively. And it seems like there's just this cycle of move slowly, train explosively, move slowly. Is one better than the other, or are they both good for different things? What are your thoughts?
They're good for different things. I mean, to become more explosive, to be more athletic, you need to train, obviously, explosively. You're never going to find a great sprinter or a power strength athlete who, counts the tempo of his reps for the most part. You have to, train for what you want to be. But then on the other side, there's bodybuilders who slow the tempo down, and they count the number of seconds their sets take to complete, and there's value in that for hypertrophy. So you do need both. I think the ultimate program for somebody who wants to get bigger and stronger and more athletic in general would be to do explosive reps on big exercises like squats and bench press, and exercises where you need to recruit a lot of motor units and get a lot of muscle fibers involved. And then you can slow it down and do longer sets of slower repetitions on isolation moves like curls and leg extensions and stuff that doesn't or could actually be dangerous to perform explosively. It actually lends itself better to being done more slowly.
Sean, what do you see as the ratio, or is it even appropriate for there to be a ratio? I sometimes hear people say, and I myself say, it's X% diet and X% exercise. Do you have an opinion there, or do you think that is not a fair assessment to make in general?
I think that it's difficult to say. It depends a little bit on the goal. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There are guys who are big and strong who don't put much of an emphasis on diet other than just eating a lot of calories, and they can achieve their goals that way. You can get big and squat 1,000 pounds without eating a vegetable. It's just that's not the way I would recommend doing it. I think if you want to get really lean, then diet is probably more important than exercise, and that's the opposite side of the spectrum there. So in an ideal world, it would be 50-50 or 100-100. It would be you're giving full emphasis to both diet and nutrition. But if you really want to skew more toward weight loss, I think you really have to be careful about diet, and lots of training programs will get you there. But if you're eating less, eating fewer calories, you're going to lose weight, no question about it. If you want to gain a lot of muscle, you got to eat more calories, but where those calories come from aren't super important if you're just looking at getting bigger in general.
Sean, what do you do when people come to you and they say, I want to tone my arms, I want to tone them? What do you say to them?
I say, well, you probably want to build muscle and lose fat, and that throws them into even greater confusion. But yeah, when you're talking about toning, you're talking about basically building muscle, and then hopefully in the process of building muscle, you're going to lose some fat and see the muscle come out better and be more defined, and that's the tone you speak of. But most people just don't understand that concept.
When in fact, I've noticed that people almost run the other direction. Like the very people who say, I want to tone, say tone because the idea of building muscle in quotation terrifies them.
Right.
But they should not be scared. I'm gathering in your book.
Yeah, I think that it's almost arrogant to think that you can build muscle so easily. How many people do you know have accidentally gotten so big and huge that they were repulsive to others? It's not that easy to do. I think some guys spend their whole lives eating themselves into oblivion and pounding the weights, and they never put on such an extreme amount of muscle that people are just awed by them when they walk down the street, especially women. I mean, women they don't have the hormonal profile to build that kind of mass to get super muscular. And I know, I worked at Muscle Fitness Hers as well in the past. I've been around women whose goal it was to gain size, and they had a really hard time doing it for the most part. The women you see who are really muscular and have set the stereotype for what built women look like, A lot of them are on steroids, or a lot of them are just genetically, gifted and freakish in that way, and they're absolutely the exceptions to the rule, and not the what most people can attain.
And Sean, when it comes to, let's say, toning our arm muscles, do you think we're best served doing a bunch of arm exercises, or is that just a component of a bigger picture? Or because so often we go into the gym and we see people doing curls and crunches and curls and crunches and curls and crunches. What do you think? What do you think about that approach?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what you see, and I think most of those people, if that approach really works so well, you'd see a lot more people with toned arms and toned abs. I think that you have to earn the right to do those bodybuilding exercises, those isolation moves. You earn that right through many years of compound lifts and going about it more slowly and focusing on big exercises that give you a lot of, I hate to say bang for your buck, but that's what they do. You have to do squats and deadlifts and bench presses and chin-ups, exercises that really cause a massive shock to your body and cause a lot of muscle growth to see those results. Once you've done that for a little while, then you can refine it and do the curls and the tricep extensions and push downs and so forth. Until you've really built an infrastructure of muscle mass and strength, you're probably not going to see very good results with those isolation moves, because you can't lift enough weight on them yet for it to cause any kind of difference in your body. You need to tear a muscle down for it to grow. You need to shock the body a little bit, to use another cliche. And the way to do that is with compound movements and heavy lifts for most people, unless you're really genetically blessed. And then you can get into the more isolation stuff. It's just not going to be much use to you until you've laid a groundwork first.
Sean, I know for individuals like you, and actually not me anymore, sadly, but I think, for example, someone like you, a lot of people that read your wonderful blog, which folks can see at fitnessdistilled.com, exercising is a hobby. And because it's a hobby and because they like it, it's fun to geek out and to almost try to be perfect. So, I mean, there may be diminishing marginal returns, but it's fun. It's like cool to do all these more complicated approaches because you like that. When you want to geek out on something, it's fun. But what do you say to everyone else? So Joe or Jane average, there have been these basic movements, squat, deadlift, pull up, press. That's basically it. How much of the total benefit of weight training could someone get by keeping things so radically simple it's almost boring?
I mean, an enormous benefit. There are some guys who've done that their whole lives. They never really strayed from it, and they kept making progress forever. Again, I hearken back to some of the old-time weightlifters, guys like John Grimmick and Steve Reeves and Eugen Sandow. I mean, you look at some of their workout programs, and they're extremely basic. And in more recent times, too, I mean, the Soviet Union, they dominated the Olympics for all these years. Their Olympic weightlifting team, those guys did workouts consisting of maybe 5 exercises throughout their entire careers. And it's only been really since the advent of the Internet that people just don't have the attention span anymore to stick with those exercises. They want to try everything under the sun, and there's information overload, and we're exposed to all these different ideas. And a lot of them are great ideas, and there's a time and place for all of them. But it's really important, and this is something it took me years to figure out for myself. It's really important to just give something time to work, and when all else fails, come back to the basics. Remember, they never stop working. You can make progress doing anything, but the most consistent progress will always come from basic exercises that you can pronounce and you can understand how they work in the body, that you can feel, that let you load a lot of weight, and they work movement patterns that are second nature to you.
And that's always something that confused me, Sean. I'd like to get your insight on it. Is there's all this talk of muscle confusion and shocking your muscles, and it seems like that is predicated, that has its roots in good science. The good science is you need to continuously challenge your muscle. Like if you were squatting 100 pounds and you just did 100 pounds forever, that would not be optimal. But you need to keep challenging your muscle. But there seems to be some confusion in how you can challenge your muscle. For example, you could do a different exercise, but if you did a different exercise, not using the proper level of resistance, that doesn't seem advantageous. Whereas if you just kept progressively adding resistance to the same exercise, isn't that providing the needed progressive stimulation a muscle needs?
Sure, it totally is. I mean, you can rearrange the reps, you can add or subtract sets, you can fiddle around with the rest periods. I mean, if you want to really avoid boredom and you think adding more exercises is the way to do that, that's okay. I would just rotate a couple different exercises that accomplish the same basic goal. You could do a squat one week and then do a squat with a different kind of bar, like maybe a safety squat barbell the following week, and then do a front squat after that, or a box squat, and but stay within those 3 or 4 lifts and just rotate those on a weekly basis. So you're always going to be squatting, but you're just doing it a little bit differently every time, and it'll feel different to your body. You'll get sore in a different way, and the whole experience will make it seem like it's a fresher exercise than it is. You'll be doing different moves, but it's still accomplishing the same goal, and you'll be able to strengthen your main squat. So when you go to test that again, those numbers will be up, and that's really how you can make progress over the long haul without going crazy from boredom.
Yeah, certainly do not want to go crazy from boredom or anything else for that matter. But Sean, the thing that initially attracted me to your work and got me to bring on the show here was I just like your title of your site, fitnessdistilled.com, because so much of this, if you just distill it down, it is right. Because you look out there, it's like, how do I burn fat? How do I be healthy? It's like, oh my God, it's confusing. But almost most people that I talk to that seem to be in this for the right reasons can distill it down and be like, if you do these 5 things, you will get 95% of the benefit. What have you seen is the distillation of your years of experience in this arena?
Wow, that's really putting me on the spot. Well, I think a lot of the same things that you've been talking about in your videos and on your show in the past. I think you've got to eat whole natural foods. You've got to get enough rest. Basic compound movements, as we said, keeping it simple, believing in the programming, no matter how half-cocked it might seem. I think that's another thing is people, they start to doubt themselves and they don't see results immediately and they get off the track like that. You've got to believe in whatever you're doing, and it's always going to be flawed. It will never be a perfect program. There's no such thing, but you have to stick with it long enough and believe that it'll work, or else it has no chance. It's just always coming back to basic principles, and I'm sure you can find just about all the information you'd need for a lifetime on one blog or in one book, in one magazine, maybe even in one article. If you just stuck with that and figured out all the nuances within that one concept that's explained in that one source, you'd probably be better served than cruising the internet for days or weeks or months or years and just collecting all this different information, but never really applying any one thought, to the nth degree.
I love how you boiled it down there, Sean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but eating whole foods, resting sufficiently, doing compound movements, and being patient.
Absolutely.
So, Sean, why do you think it is so hard for us to just do that? Because that is very simple, but it is so easy to be like, oh, this supplement, or oh, this pill, or this new crazy 3-letter acronym workout technique, or what do we just have human nature is human nature just to overcomplicate things? What do you think?
I think it's human nature to always look for shortcuts and to want to believe in fairy tales, and that things can be simpler than they really are, or more magical than they are, that there's some kind of salvation around the corner if we just buy this product, or take this drug, or try this one thing, or call this one person. And it's been overcomplicated by the fact that we are living in the age of information. There's just so much out there. There's so many blogs, so many websites, so many books, and so many gurus, and it's just very difficult to focus on any one. And I'm not criticizing these sources or these people. I think everybody's got their part to play, and they all offer something interesting. You'd just be better served to stick with one for a long, long time until you've milked that for all it's worth, and then move on to something else. And people just jump too quickly.
And it makes me smile, Sean, because you mentioned something there where we have this natural tendency towards a magic pill. And I think when we decouple simple from easy, there's actually a pretty cool distinction here, which is what we just talked about is actually radically simple. Like, we live in a complicated world. There's plenty of complicated things. If you want to become a millionaire legally, like, that's complicated. There's no, like, it's just complex. It's hard and it's complex. But if you want to be fit and healthy and robust, it's hard, but it's simple. seemingly. And so it's almost like you get half a magic pill. It's not easy, but it is simple. What do you think?
Yeah, the effort is hard, but the how-to material is often not very complicated. It's interesting. I interviewed Arnold Schwarzenegger last year, and he had I asked, I think my question to him was, what is the biggest problem that people have, achieving their goals? And he said just the lack of vision. People don't have a clear vision in their minds of how they want to look or how they want to feel or what they want their body to be like. And when you don't have that, then it's so much harder to actually make it happen. You have to have some kind of a thought of what the end goal is going to look like and represent. And that's it. But once you've got that in place, actually getting to that point is a lot easier than it seems, because now you know exactly where you want to go, and you just have to find the route to get there.
And I think it's so encouraging too when you have something which, in an ideal world, everything would be both simple and easy, but there are very few things in life that are both simple and easy. But when the issue is it's hard, but it's simple, to me that's very empowering, because when something is complex, it's like until you get that knowledge, until you get your real estate license, until you get a medical degree, until you learn to speak a foreign language, all of which are very complicated, it doesn't really matter how much effort you apply. Nothing's going to happen because you're missing the information. Right. But when we have something like this, it's like the ball's in our court. And all in quotations, all we need to do is put in the effort. But that's really cool. There really isn't actually a lot of things in life where, like, there's really no politics. It's not that complicated. You just got to do it. To me, that's exciting.
Yeah, when you put it in those terms, it's actually kind of a relief. If you tell me if I just focus on one thing and be consistent with it, I'll get there, and you ultimately will.
And in fact, if the only is probably the wrong word, but the only way you'll get off track is if you stop perceiving it simply. Like, if you allow it to become complex, it won't work because it's not sustainable unless this is your job. It's going to fall off. So maybe that's a rule we all need to apply, is like, if what we're doing, assuming this isn't our hobby or just something we're doing for fun, but it's just something we want to do from a practical perspective, if it's not simple, one, it's probably not going to work long-term because you're not going to keep it up long-term. And two, it just doesn't need to be. You have enough complexity in your life, so why not stick with simple?
Sure. I mean, look at it from the perspective of diet. I mean, if you want to diet for a bodybuilding show and get on stage and, exactly 12 weeks and weigh this exact amount, that's complicated. Like, that can be tough. That's going to require crunching some numbers and weighing out your food and really sticking to a schedule. If you want to lose 20 pounds or just, fit into a pair of jeans, or if you want to gain weight and fill out your shirt sleeves, that's not hard. That's we're talking about a very different scale of achievement here. It's so many people, they read these things about diets, and they feel like they have to hit this number of macros going forward, and they have to have this percentage of their diet be from this kind of food. And that's well and good, but that's so far down the line for most people, they don't have to make it anywhere near that complicated. That's later on. Once you've, made some great initial strides, and you don't have to count anything or worry about that at all. Just eating normal food that, comes from the land in portions that you feel your body can tolerate under normal conditions will be just fine.
I love it, Sean. Well, what's next for you? What's next for you in the fitness arena?
Well, working on a book for men's fitness now. But don't know how much I can talk about it, but it should be out this fall. And I'm also doing an ebook that should also be out this fall on better, healthier methods for bodybuilding. So I'm excited to have those come out. There'll be more information on my site.
I love it. Well, folks, Sean's got all kinds of great content out there. He's got a bunch of videos on YouTube, of course, got all his social media rocking and rolling. And if you want to learn more from him, please check him out at fitnessdistilled.com. Also, SeanHyson.com. Sean, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it very much.
Listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. And please remember, this week and every week after, eat smarter, exercise smarter, and live better. Talk with you soon.
Wait, don't stop listening yet. If you like the podcast and if there's other ways we can help you, please join us in the Smarter Science of Slim support group, which is freely available at the Smarter Science of Slim website, smarterscienceofslim.com. There you'll find all kinds of free recipes and success stories and just all kinds of fun stuff, like how to help your kids go sane and just great community content.
And just one last thing before you go, if you wouldn't mind heading over to iTunes and up onto Amazon.com and leaving us a review, and then going over to Facebook and liking us, we would hugely appreciate it.